Hi, my name is Kimberly Mingsul. Welcome to my yoga channel. Today we're going to do a Yin Yoga sequence, a deep tissue massage, so to speak. And you're gonna want a towel or blanket, a block, and a bolster or a big pillow, sofa cushion, and keep these things close by because you never know when you're going to need them. We are going to begin in toe stretch today, and that is when we have our feet together behind us and we spread our toes out, the balls of our feet are on the floor, our knees are on the floor. And those of us that are less flexible will have our hands on the floor in front of our knees. Relax your neck and experience that deep stretch in your toes and in your feet. Some of us are more flexible. Those of us will want to start walking our hands gently up the thighs. Eventually, one day, our hands are behind our backs. And if your hands are behind your back, it doesn't matter if you just let your head relax carefully forward, or if it's comfortable for you to let your head fall back, that's fine too, as long as you're not putting any undue pressure on your neck or on your shoulders. Your eyes are closed. Try not to let your ankles open up from each other. We want to keep our feet as straight as possible. We're stretching the big toe as much as the little toe, if that's possible. And you're focusing internally on the breath. Again, your eyes are closed. You're searching for darkness and stillness with focus on your breath. This is an extremely challenging pose for most people. Send your breath to the area that's giving you discomfort and relax that area. Try to surrender to the pose. Fill your lungs, empty your lungs. We're going to remain here for 2 more minutes. So now you really have to use your concentration to find peace in this pose. One way to help us do that is to distract our minds with our breath and visualize things when we breathe. For example, in a pose that's this tough, you might need a more complicated breathing and visualizing techniques such as R1 Arahan, number 8, visualizing. So if you pretend like your body, your upper body is a figure 8, and let your breath come in from the pubic bone as you breathe in. Follow your breath as it goes through the neck and up over the back part of your head. Hold your breath for a split second before you then exhale and let your breath fall down the face, through the neck. Follow your breath as it goes along the spinal column and around the tailbone. Hold your breath out for a split second before you then begin breathing in up from the pubic bone over the belly again and continue with that figure 8. Visualizing again. Eyes are closed. Relax your ankles, relax your feet, relax your toes. Relax your legs and your thighs. Fill your lungs completely full, empty your lungs completely empty. And now we can finally come out of this. Slowly walk your hands back forward onto the floor in front of your knees if they're not already there. And carefully lift your feet up and set the tops of your feet on the floor. Feet are together, heels as close together as possible. Sit back towards the heels. Your hands go behind the body and lift your knees up and experience that opposite stretch in the ankles. Lift the knees as high off the floor as possible. Don't be alarmed if you can't get your knees off the floor at all. Go through the motions. If you feel the efforts, then you're doing it exactly right. We're only going to hold this for a few more breaths. Knees, one last chance, as high as possible, and on an exhalation, slowly lower your knees. You may need your blanket or your pillow for this next pose. Frog pose. We're going to come to our knees on all fours and open your knees out to the side as if you're going to do the splits on all fours. If possible, the inside ankles go down onto the floor, and for some of us, this is our pose. The next step for those that are more flexible, elbows are onto the floor. Open your knees a little bit more apart. You might need your blanket or your towel under your knees for extra support. You might need your pillow under your body to lie upon. Those that are even more flexible can let the upper body lie all the way down to the floor. Your goal is you're looking for a good stretch in the groin area. So you might need to adjust your hips a little bit forward or your hips a little bit backwards to find exactly where your body starts resonating discomfort. We're looking for that fine line of discomfort. We are not looking for shooting pain. We're looking for that area where your body is saying, okay, I don't really like this very much, but I can stay here if I have to, and I can breathe flowingly without holding my breath. If you find you're holding your breath, then you're too deep into the pose. If you find that you could take a nap because you're so comfortable, you need to go a little bit deeper into the pose. Close your eyes and remain here. Fill your lungs, empty your lungs. Relax the area experiencing discomfort. This is frog pose, tadpole pose. Your head is completely relaxed. Your shoulders are completely relaxed. Again, we're looking for a stretch in the groin area. After a little bit of time in this pose, you may have to come forward with your upper body or a little bit more back with your upper body. Sometimes our bodies adjust to the pose and you don't feel anything anymore after a few breaths or after a minute. So then you need to adjust accordingly. And then bring yourself back into your internal you. Eyes are closed. You're focusing on what your body is experiencing here and now, and you're focusing on your breath. Another breathing technique. Perhaps you pretend you're sitting oceanside, watching the waves roll in slowly as you breathe in, and they roll back out equally as slow as you breathe out. Inhale and exhale equally. You can also add a bit of a breath retention if you're not pregnant between each breath. Fill your lungs, empty your lungs. If you are pregnant and you're doing a Yin Yoga class, you don't need to hold the poses as long as the rest of us do. It's okay to come out of the poses earlier. Fill your lungs and empty your lungs. None of these poses are dangerous if you're pregnant. It's just that it's going to be uncomfortable for you and you shouldn't remain in your poses as long. Be sure that your body's getting more circulation. Now I'm speaking to those that may be pregnant. We have 60 more seconds in this pose. Bring your thoughts back to yourself, internally. Yoga is a meditative practice. Nobody can sit here for 60 seconds and not think about other thoughts. But the more we practice, the better we can become at it. And every time that you realize, oh gee, I'm thinking about something completely different, just sweep those thoughts aside and bring yourself back to your breath. Twenty more seconds. Before you come out of the pose, pull the navel into the spine to support your spine and Squeeze your privates. So squeeze your anal muscles. Slowly come up onto all four. The mula bandha, the lower muscles that we're squeezing, is to protect our hips as we gently, slowly take all the time you need to come out of your Yin Yoga poses and come back to a seated position. You're going to want your pillow close by, and you may want a blanket or your towel close by. We're going to go into fire log pose now with the right ankle on top of the left ankle. And if you're feeling discomfort with bone against bone, that's why you want your blanket between the two ankles. If you're feeling the ankle bone on the floor, then maybe you want to take your towel under that ankle and wrap it up over the other ankle so that you are supporting both ankles with your towel or your blanket. Those that are more flexible can begin walking their ankles a little bit closer to your knees. Do not overpress. You do not want to feel stretching in the knees here. Eventually, when you're in full pose, your ankle is on top of the knee and the other ankle is below the knee. Your legs are completely on top of each other. We're not sitting crisscross applesauce or easy sitting pose. They're on top of each other. Elongate, and on an exhalation, fold forward as much as your body has business doing. We're looking for a good, strong stretch in the outer hips, and you can relax against your pillow. You can support yourself with your elbows on the pillow, your forehead on the palms of your hands. Maybe you're flexible enough to lie completely down on the pillow. Maybe you don't need a pillow at all. Close your eyes, go into yourself, and first scan your body mentally. Examine where you're experiencing discomfort and release that area. Relax that area. Fill your lungs, empty your lungs. If after a few breaths or a little bit of time, you need to go a little bit deeper into your pose, do so. This might begin in the hips. After a while, you might notice discomfort begin to spread up over the lower portion of the back, up towards the shoulder blades. You might feel it more in the sit muscles. All of this is what we're after. We all hold tension differently, and we all hold tension differently daily. So one day this pose may be much easier for you than it was yesterday, for example. Some days we just are more flexible than others. Our body's changing every single day. Relax the shoulders, your neck is relaxed, your eyes are closed. You're searching for peace in the pose, peace of the mind. Find stillness in the mind. Don't fidget with your fingers. Eyes are closed, in total darkness, alone with yourself. We have 60 more seconds in this pose. The thighs are relaxed, the sit muscles are relaxed, the belly is relaxed. More seconds. From your belly, tighten the muscles in the lower abdomen. Squeeze your privates. As I tell my students, slowly come up, and we're going to change sides. Take all the time in the world you need to come out of your Yin Yoga poses, and we're going to begin setting up on the opposite side. So now the left foot is on top. Adjust your towel or blanket accordingly. accordingly. Once you have found exactly where your body needs to be in this pose, pull the navel in, find space between all the vertebrae before you then begin folding forward from the hips. And when your body says, that'll do right there, that's where you hold it. You keep your hips exactly where they are, and you support yourself with your pillow however you need to support yourself. Of course, you could be using a pile of books with a smaller pillow on top of it if need be. Does not matter how or what you use as support mechanisms. Just make sure that your shoulders are relaxed, your neck, your head is relaxed. We're looking for that outer stretch in the hips. In the beginning, it might just be on one side, and later it'll move to both sides and up the back. Your eyes are closed and you're focused on your breath. Advanced yogis, if you're familiar with Ujjayi breath, when you tighten the throat area and make a sound when you breathe, try not to do that. Relax your throat here. We're not looking to build heat up in the body in Yin Yoga the way that we do in more Yang forms, Ashtanga or Hatha forms of yoga. In Yin Yoga, we're trying to release tension, thereby releasing stress. We're trying to work beyond the muscles. So we're not going to break a sweat. We're not going to burn calories. We're trying to release tension. Eyes are closed. You're alone with your thoughts. As thoughts that do not have anything to do with your breath or what your body is experiencing here or now come to mind, these are the thoughts you want to sweep aside. If it's important, you can come back to it later. If it's garbage, like Kim's voice is irritating, or why isn't there lovely music playing in the background? I'd rather be listening to lovely music. Things like that, that's just garbage. Sweep that stuff aside and let it go. Equal deep inhalation as exhalation. If you're able to fold deeper into the pose, do so. We're not forcing ever in yoga, no matter what kind of yoga you're practicing. We're never forcing, we're releasing. Equal deep inhalation as exhalation. We have 2 more minutes. Relax the sit muscles, relax your hips, relax your back. Relax the legs, ankles, toes, and the soles of your feet. The belly is completely soft. 30 more seconds. Before you come out of your pose, pull the navel in towards the spine to protect your spine. Squeeze your private muscles lower in your abdominal area and slowly come up. Slowly straighten out your legs, and you're going to want to find your block and your towel and your bolster. Your bolster is going to be behind you. Your block is going to be behind you, standing like the skinny way to your back, standing tall, and you're going to possibly want to place your towel or your blanket on your block. Now, the soles of your feet are on the floor. Pull your block to you and support it with your hands as you Slowly and gently begin lying back onto the block. You want the block to meet your body about where the bra line would be, and support your head, and slowly let your head begin sinking back. If it's uncomfortable for you to let your head sink far back, just continue to support your head with your hands. Or you could also pile up books or blocks or your pillow behind you to rest your head on. Those that it's okay to let your head relax back. And if your neck and your shoulders are feeling fine, you can let your arms relax with the palms of the hands up to the sky. Let your shoulders relax down to the floor. If it's more comfortable to let the soles of your feet go in towards each other and let the knees open up to the floor, then do so. Begin to investigate. Do you need to move your block a little bit closer to the hips to get more of a stretch? Or do you need the block more away from your hips to get less of a stretch? Fill your lungs, empty your lungs. Arahan number 8, visualization could be used here, or you could use Hamsa or Saham, where you visualize your spinal column as an elevator and you let your breath follow that spinal column. Let the breath follow the elevator as it goes up and down. Equal deep inhalation as exhalation. If you have more to give and you would like to incorporate your shoulders into this stretch, you can place your hands in prayer at the heart, elbows into the body. Let your hand begin sliding up towards the forehead, elbows in towards each other. Eventually, your hands can go down towards the block, but your elbows are into each other. Fill your lungs and empty your lungs. Relax the hips. If you have discomfort in your knees, straighten out your legs. "60 more seconds. "20 more seconds. Now, contract your belly muscles again. Your hands support your head. Slowly use the hands to help lift your head up until your chin is towards your heart. From there, hands on the floor, gently bring yourself forward. You may need a pillow. And slowly continue leaning forward into butterfly pose. Close your eyes. Go into yourself, an opposite stretch. Relax the hips. Relax the legs. Relax the thighs. If after a few breaths you realize that you're no longer getting a stretch, you can get rid of the pillow and go deeper into the pose. Those that are even more flexible, your arms can go under the knees towards the feet. We have 2 more minutes in this pose. You're focused on your breath. Fill your lungs, empty your lungs. Ocean wave rhythm with your breathing. Equal deep inhalation as exhalation. In through the nose, out through the nose if possible. Eyes are closed. Yoga is a meditative practice. All forms of yoga are a meditative practice. The more we practice, the better we get. As with anything. They often say yoga is mind, body, and soul. And in Yin Yoga, we definitely have to work with the mind before we can release the body, before we can release tension. Calm the mind to achieve peace in the pose. If you're lying here thinking about, I don't have time for this, then you need this more than you think. If you're having a hard time sorting your thoughts and keeping them away, you're completely normal. It takes practice and you do get better. 30 more seconds. Pull the navel into the spinal column and lift those muscles up under the ribs. Slowly walk yourself out of your butterfly pose. Clear all of the stuff you may have behind you and gently come down to lying prone on the back into Shavasana, final rest pose. Take a deep inhalation, a deep exhalation, and then allow your breath to come back to a normal, spontaneous breath without any control. Thank you for practicing with me today. Be sure to slap a like if you enjoyed the video. Leave a comment if there's something that you would like to work on in future videos. And it'd be great if you subscribed. See you next time. Namaste.